fait?
Mais de quoi tu parles? Enfin, j'ai rien fait.
Gaspar Noé is known for his provocative and visceral approach to filmmaking. He and his films are both beloved and hated, and arguably for good reason too. By means of kinetic sex, drugs, and violence, Noé pushes things to their absolute extreme, showcasing life for both its cruelty and its beauty. I am not here to make a claim that Noé's films are secretly genius or even necessarily misunderstood, but I am here to talk about some underlying themes consistently found throughout his body of work relating to the argument for and against natalism. That is, whether or not it is morally right to bring a child into this world. However, I should say that while Noé engages in this dialogue within his films, he does not seem to provide any clear answers. He instead invites his viewers to come to their own conclusions. Because I have seen very few people even mention this recurring theme in his films, I thought it may be interesting to do a series of videos on this very topic. The support I will provide for this reading may not necessarily be as convincing for one singular film, but rather is supported by the grander context of Noé's body of work. We will start with his most recent film and then work our way backward through his filmography until we reach the beginning. And while this video may not amount to much more than pointing things out in a film that I find interesting, hopefully between now and then, at the end of the series, we can gain some level of greater insight on this provocateur's films. The film Climax follows a group of dancers who drink spiked sangria at a party and enter a downward spiral into paranoia and insanity. The film explores themes of reproduction and abortion, and hints at concepts of natalism and anti-natalism. The film begins with a woman crawling in the snow and covered in her own blood. This is Lou, who has recently aborted the baby she carried. The first title states that the film is for those who have wronged us and are no longer here. This could be interpreted to mean many things. It may even possibly mean those who were aborted, seeing that the child may be wronging the mother and are no longer there. Or perhaps it is the mothers who chose to abort that are wronging the children. That could be the case with Lou after all. The next title card reads as "Being is a fleeting illusion." This highlights that life itself, existing, does not last and is not as it may seem. This could be the case with either side on the abortion argument. The narrative goes backward and reveals what led Lou to this place. We see the dancers at the party prior to the sangria being spiked. In addition to the dancers is Emmanuelle, who hosts the party. She is accompanied by her son Tito. There's an emphasis here on motherhood.
Je suis amoureuse de ton gamin!
C'est mon
Il
Tito!
danse trop bien!
Ah, je
Tu peux
l'aime
l'emmener à
trop.
danser?
Tito, however, is in an adult environment, which he does not belong in. Lou takes note of this and at one point takes him away and hugs him, as if he were her child.
C'est de l'alcool. C'est pas bon pour toi. C'est pas du jus, tu vois. C'est de l'alcool.
Mais laisse-le, ton petit, toi! Viens danser avec moi, Tito! Viens danser avec moi, Tito!
This establishes a link between the two, supporting some possible parallels and symbolism that occurs later on and relate to abortion. This theme is prevalent throughout the film. At one point at the party, Lou and Selva discuss the morality of abortion. Lou takes notice of Emmanuelle and her son Tito, and is worried that Tito is in an environment not suited for children.
Je m'inquiète pour l'enfant. Mais non, pourquoi tu t'inquiètes? Il est parti dormir, il va bien.
Lou is secretly pregnant and is contemplating about both motherhood and abortion, taking notice of the potential dangers of bringing a child into the world. So she projects her thoughts onto Emmanuelle's parenting style. She believes it may have not been right to reproduce.
C'est pas un bon environnement pour un enfant. Ah, pourquoi t'arrêtes pas avec ça?
Lou asks Selva if she had ever had an abortion.
Toi, t'as déjà avorté?
She wants others' perspectives of what she should do herself. Selva does not answer her question, but instead voices her stance on the abortion argument.
C'est bien d'avoir le choix. Tu trouves pas?
While Silva seems to support the right to abort, she ultimately views Emmanuel's decision to reproduce to be a good one. Regardless of the danger and pain that Tito may endure in his life, Silva views his happiness to be more important.
Il va très bien. Il est joyeux, il est bien éduqué.
She states that because Tito was raised to be a good kid, it was good that Emmanuel did not abort him.
Si, il est très bien éduqué, en tout cas. Elle a bien fait de pas avorter.
This is followed by a title card that translates to, "Being born is a unique opportunity." Therefore, we can deduce from Climax that there may be legitimacy to natalism, that with birth comes opportunity and the possibility of a good life. Lou is continuously reminded of her pregnancy. She talks to another dancer, who says that he is uncomfortable over the fact that his girlfriend is carrying the baby belonging to somebody else.
Tu vas aller la retrouver alors?
Oh, oui, je souhaite la retrouver. Dommage qu'elle a un bébé, porte un bébé. Pour un autre. Pour son double papillon, mais non. C'est ce qu'elle me dit.
Elle est enceinte?
Oui, elle est enceinte.
De quelqu'un d'autre?
Oui. Tu vois.
Et
Imagine le mec que tu rêvais,
ouais.
et il a amoureux d'une autre.
Lou is now even less sure of what to do with her pregnancy, as she is only reminded of the social repercussions that may come as a result. Though maternity is still framed as somewhat of a positive thing during this point of the film. We see Emmanuelle as she tucks her son into bed.
C'est pas souvent qu'on se voit. Regarde, aujourd'hui j'ai fait un effort. Je suis une bonne maman?
Oui.
Fais-moi un bisou.
She definitely seems to care for Tito. However, she later opens up to the DJ about her thoughts on raising children and them growing up, seemingly exhausted by motherhood.
On est bonne quand on commence à danser quand on est jeune, tu vois. Et ensuite, tu te fais baiser dans un coin d'un mur, tu vois là. Et après, tu tombes enceinte.
To her, while having a child may be a mistake, it can also be the best thing in her life.
Et après, qu'est-ce qu'il faut que tu fasses? Il faut que les plus belles erreurs de ta vie, elles deviennent des réussites.
After drinking the spiked sangria, Emmanuelle's motherly instincts kick in.
Allez, on y va. Ils sont tous fous ici. S'il te plaît, calme-toi. Arrête de tirer, viens, on y va. Allez, viens, Tito, arrête maintenant.
She puts Tito in the breaker room in order to protect him from the dangers of the outside world.
Non, je t'aime. Je t'aime, je suis fait pour te protéger.
She takes things another step further by locking him in the room. She does this to protect him from the world that she brought him into in the first place.
Je vais revenir, t'inquiète pas. Je t'aime, calme-toi, s'il te plaît, calme-toi.
Qu'est-ce que t'es en train de faire?
Je le protège de vous.
De qui?
Je le protège de vous.
Lou is the only adult who didn't drink the sangria. She reveals to Selva that this is because she is pregnant.
Silva, tu peux garder un secret pour moi. Tu peux faire ça, s'il te plaît. Ben oui. J'ai un petit truc qui bouge dans mon ventre.
Quoi?
Je suis enceinte, Silva.
She is unsure of what she should do with herself.
Tu vas faire quoi? Je sais pas. C'est qui le papa? Je sais rien.
She is at odds with whether or not she should abort, both for herself and because the world is a cruel place to raise a child. The dancer Dom accuses Lou of spiking the drink and then lying about the pregnancy.
Dis-moi pourquoi t'as pas bu.
C'est pas elle. 2 secondes, je suis
T'es
chaude.
enceinte. T'es enceinte, espèce de mytho, hein.
She assaults Lou, harming the baby inside her.
Espèce de mytho, va.
It is unclear whether Noé's films treat the choice to abort as being right or wrong, but it is clear that one thing is wrong, and that is taking that choice away from the mother and killing the baby against her will. In that case, both the rights of the child and the rights of the mother are violated. While the child inside Lou may still be alive, their life is threatened. This mirrors Tito's situation. The breaker room is essentially the womb. He may be shielded from the outside world, but this life is threatened in an area that is meant to be safe, just as the child inside Lou is. Tito screams from inside the room, just as a hurt Lou walks by. Soon after this, Lou is pressured by those around her to abort. Eventually, Lou gives in and resorts to self-harm. The others then convince her to kill the child, and she does just that. While Lou may have been contemplating abortion, she also considered raising the child. It was her peers that convinced her when they pushed her over the edge. For that moment, though, aborting the child seemed like it would make life better and easier for everyone. Soon after Lou's abortion, Emmanuel loses the key to the breaker room, which only puts Tito into further danger.
J'ai perdu la clé.
J'ai la clé.
J'ai perdu la clé.
As the child attempts to break free, to be born, he is shocked to death, aborted. Emmanuel realizes she's the one to blame, as it was her choice that led to her child's death. Though, at the same time, in a more literal sense, it was her choice of bringing him into this world and putting him into this position that led to his tragic fate. So in a way, not only does Climax externalize abortion as a horror to behold, but also frames natalism as ultimately being the same thing. To reiterate, Noé is quite back and forth on this issue. Or so it seems. As if abortion and natalism can both be seen as good and also be seen as evil. The party scene climaxes into a drug-fueled hellscape. There's so much music, sex, and violence occurring, so much commotion. And in the midst of it, we hear what sounds like the noises of a baby. The dancers are pushed to their most extreme. One dancer gets on top of another, pushing him down onto the ground. His peers cheer him on, advocating for murder. At one moment he is alive, but the next he is dead, murdered. There could be a tie here to the abortion themes that have snuck their way into the film. Noé could be suggesting abortion, at least sometimes, is senseless murder. It's difficult to determine precisely what is said. Now, the term murder has specific connotations, but in my personal perspective, no matter how you put it, aborting a fetus is killing a biological human. Whether that killing is morally just or not is what is up for debate and what should be discussed. Arguments can be made for abortion and also for anti-natalism. Noé seems to be swimming around in these themes throughout his filmography, without ever providing a clear answer to this ongoing argument. But I think that's one way to read this film. Its focus is directed at this argument, for or against bringing life into this world. Right after the dancer is killed, a title card graces the screen. It reads as, "Living is a collective impossibility." This is yet another vague statement from Noé. It seems to imply that life with one another is ultimately impossible. This could be an argument for anti-natalism. He could be suggesting that life is cruel and people cannot get along. Therefore, it is through death that we reach something greater. We see the bodies of Tito and Emmanuel, both mother and son.
Elle est partie.
Another title card appears on screen. Death is an extraordinary experience. This seems like both a cynical and optimistic way to look at death. When applied to the abortion argument, death may be the answer. It's something else. It's extraordinary. That is, if in this case, extraordinary means good. But that's not necessarily the case. This worldview is consistently inconsistent throughout Gaspar Noé's body of work. There seems to be a constant view of life that values the good within it and supports the choice to bring life into the world, while simultaneously acknowledging the fact that life is full of suffering and chaos. These extremes both complement and destroy each other. But according to Noé's films, that is what life is. Both extremes, moving together in this dance.